The sun should have been rising over Nevada's blistering deserts, but instead the sky cracked with a storm of red lightning. The sand shimmered unnaturally and animals bolted in panic. Something was coming, something beyond human comprehension. In the heart of the desert, General Thaddeus "Thunderbolt" Ross, now the monstrous Red Hulk, stood alone, his crimson body glowing with inner rage and radiation. He had been tracking anomalies ever since. SUORD intercepted a strange omega-shaped signature near Earth's orbit. Ross wasn't one to wait for S.H.I.E.L.D.'s protocol. When something came knocking, he preferred to smash first and ask questions never. Then the air itself folded inwards like a crushed can, and a boom tube opened. Out of it emerged a presence so ancient, so heavy with cosmic tyranny. The Earth groaned beneath his step. Darkseid, not an illusion, not an avatar. The true god of Apokolips himself had come to Earth. The Omega symbol on his chest pulsed, his hands clasped behind his back. He surveyed the Red Hulk as one might observe an ant defying a god. Another primitive weapon of brute force, Darkseid said, his voice deep and echoing like the collapse of time itself. Tell me, does your rage shield you from despair? Red Hulk snorted. I don't care who you are, but you're trespassing on my soil. You picked the wrong rock to invade, freak. Without another word, Red Hulk leaped, fists aimed at the ruler of Apokolips. But to understand this war, one must understand the titans behind it. Thaddeus Ross was once a general obsessed with stopping Bruce Banner. In the pursuit of power, he made a devil's pact, transforming himself into Red Hulk. Unlike Banner's Hulk, Ross retained his cunning and military brilliance. His strength increased with rage, but so did his temperature, often turning him into a walking nuclear furnace. His hatred for weakness made him a perfect soldier, but an unstable weapon. Darkseid was no mere alien warlord. He was the embodiment of tyranny, the end of freedom, and the cosmic force behind the anti-life equation. On Apokolips, he ruled with fire pits and fear, seeking to bring all life under his dominion. He had fought the likes of Superman, Orion, the Spectre, and won more than he lost. The Omega effect that coursed through him wasn't energy. It was will, weaponized into disintegration, resurrection, and control. So why had he come to Earth? A fissure in reality had revealed that the anti-life equation had been fragmented across multiple consciousnesses, including unstable minds, like Ross's. If he could dominate or destroy Red Hulk, Darkseid could retrieve a sliver of the equation. Buried in Ross's gamma-ravaged psyche, Red Hulk's punch landed with a thunderclap that shook Las Vegas miles away. But Darkseid didn't budge. Instead, Ross felt his fist shatter slightly from the impact. The Lord of Apokolips raised one arm and backhanded him, sending Red Hulk flying across 3 mesas, carving a molten trench in the desert. Ross growled, stood up, his skin steaming. That all you got? Darkseid didn't answer. He raised his hand and fired the Omega beams, zigzagging crimson light that defied physics. Red Hulk ducked, barely dodging them, but the beams curved, split midair and followed. Ross charged straight through them. The Omega beams struck his chest and tore through muscle. But to Darkseid's surprise, Ross didn't die. The beams hurt, yes, sliced through skin and pride, but Red Hulk was too angry to fall. He caught Darkseid off guard with a lunging headbutt that cracked the god's armor. The force echoed like a bomb going off. You're not the first god I've put in the dirt, Ross spat. Darkseid narrowed his eyes. You're not facing some cape-wearing weakling. I commanded armies before you ever crawled out of your little fire pit. Red Hulk snarled. And I don't break easy. Darkseid extended one hand, not to attack, but to summon parademons, hundreds of them, spilling out of the boom tube, wings buzzing like hellspawn. Then let me show you the power of dominion. Red Hulk bellowed, smashing his fists together so hard the shockwave leveled a plateau. As parademons swarmed, Red Hulk's body turned brighter, his inner heat rising. He moved like a tank fused with a tornado, tearing through the apocalyptic soldiers with bare hands. One unlucky demon exploded when Ross grabbed it and used it like a club against its comrades. But the more he fought, the hotter he became. His body was now glowing orange. The desert itself began to burn, the sand turning into molten glass beneath him. Rage is your power, but it is also your chain, Darkseid observed from a distance. And chains are mine to pull. He snapped his fingers. A cube of solid black energy, a micro-prison of his own design, descended from above and trapped Red Hulk inside. The cube pulsed with suppressing runes carved in ancient New God script. Red Hulk screamed, punched, melted the walls, but the cube grew colder the angrier he became. Darkseid approached the cube and touched its surface. In your mind, buried beneath fury, lies a fragment of something ancient. The anti-life equation whispers through your rage. I will take it. Red Hulk inside the cube looked up with fury beyond description. Take this! With one final roar, he unleashed a nuclear-level burst of thermal radiation, melting the cube from inside. Darkseid stumbled back, a rare sight. Ross emerged, glowing like a dying star. His eyes bloodshot, his body cracked with energy. You're gonna have to kill me to get it, Red Hulk growled. No, Darkseid replied. I will make you submit. The ground split as Darkseid descended from the sky like a meteor, slamming into Red Hulk and forming a crater miles wide. They traded blows at speeds too fast for satellites to track. Each strike a collision of ideologies. Freedom versus control, rage versus discipline, man versus God. Red Hulk grabbed a mountain peak and hurled it. Darkseid caught it, crushed it. Ross struck Darkseid's chest, cracking the Omega emblem. Darkseid retaliated with a burst of anti-life, energy that knocked Ross unconscious for a second. But Ross kept getting back up. Darkseid's expression changed, not fear but interest. You may be more useful alive. Red Hulk spat blood. You'll need more than words to stop me, tyrant. The sky above Earth cracked like glass as Darkseid dragged the semi-conscious Red Hulk through the boom tube, stepping from the Nevada desert into the smoldering plains of Apokolips. The air was sulfur and fire. War machines thundered in the distance. The sky, a burning sea of red, screamed with the cries of the damned. Lava rivers bubbled beneath massive statues of Darkseid, while legions of Parademons stood in disciplined silence. This was no longer a battlefield. It was a throne world. Red Hulk awoke to chains, not physical ones, but mind chains. His body stood upright, floating midair, suspended in a containment field forged from the will of Apokolips itself. Darkseid hovered nearby, eyes glowing with patient menace. You fought well, he said, but the anti-life fragment you carry is not a weapon for mortals. It was never meant to live inside a storm like you. Red Hulk thrashed, roaring. I'll kill you before you take it. You misunderstand. You're already mine. Darkseid raised one palm and reality warped. The anti-life equation began to unfold. Symbols dancing in the air, equations of despair, control, inevitability. Red Hulk's mind buckled. He saw visions, Earth burned, people kneeling, and he, a slave at Darkseid's side. His rage turned inward, his will shattered. His temperature began to drop. His strength waned. The field, feeding on his fury, was turning it into surrender. Submit, Darkseid whispered, his voice now inside Ross's skull. But there was one thing the Omega Tyrant miscalculated. Rage does not surrender. It mutates. It survives. Inside Red Hulk's core, where Gamma met hatred and shame, a different fire ignited. Not just rage at Darkseid, but at himself. At every mission, every death, every compromise that turned a man into a monster. His scream was silent at first, then deafening. The field shattered. Ross dropped to the ground, punching the ash so hard that shockwaves rippled across Apokolips. Parademons were flung like insects. Darkseid's calm expression cracked into a grimace. You dare? Red Hulk's eyes were blood red. His mouth twisted in fury, skin now glowing magma orange. I commanded fear long before your mother birthed your tyranny. And with that, he charged. What followed was not a battle. It was a war between forces too. raw for mortal comprehension. Red Hulk tackled Darkseid through fortresses, smashing walls and soldiers alike. Darkseid countered with a gravitational crush wave, collapsing a city-sized section of Apokolips on Ross, but the Hulk rose through it. They fought across energy pits and towers, throwing blows that dented time itself. Ross tore through Darkseid's armor, exposing cosmic flesh beneath. Darkseid unleashed the full Omega effect, a blast of power meant to erase existence. Red Hulk caught it with both hands. For a second, the entire planet froze. Then Ross turned the energy back, redirecting it with a primal scream. Darkseid was blasted across the sky, crashing into the throne of Apokolips and shattering it. He rose, slowly, bruised, bleeding, angry. But Red Hulk was faster now, stronger, a walking sun of destruction. He leapt, punching Darkseid in the face again and again, each strike cracking the world beneath them. Darkseid staggered. Ross roared, "You want what's inside my head? Then take it!" He grabbed Darkseid by the throat and slammed him into the Omega Shrine. Then one final blow, a punch charged with gamma, fury, and freedom. Darkseid fell, not unconscious, not dead, but beaten. He looked up, chest heaving. "You are a paradox." Red Hulk stood over him. "I'm not your slave. I'm your reckoning." Darkseid vanished into a boom tube, retreating, not in fear but in strategic withdrawal. Red Hulk stood victorious, burning alone and still furious but undefeated.